Hello, this is Billy Core from the Carolina Circle Mall. Today is Saturday, August the 12th of 2017, and we're with a computer we haven't seen in a while. It's one of my all-time favorite computers, the Dell Dimension 2350. As you know, I actually bought this new back in June of 2003, so this makes it 14 years that I've owned this computer. And believe it or not, it still works. Got a 2.2 gigahertz Northwood Pentium 4, 1 gig of RAM, and a 60 gig hard drive. Of course, the computer originally came with only 256 megs of RAM, but I upgraded it to a gig back in 2007. And here's the original monitor that it came with. 15-inch LCD, first LCD I ever owned. Now, the reason I'm making a video about it today is I want to show how to run Windows 98 on here. Now, obviously, this computer was designed for Windows XP, which is when it ran for many, many years as my main system. Which, by the way, this computer, when this was my main system from ages 13 to, I guess, 18, never failed me a bit. Ran beautifully, probably the most reliable, one of the most reliable computers I ever owned. I love this computer. Anyway, I discovered about maybe 5 or 6 years ago that despite popular belief, you can actually run Windows 98 on here. And it's not officially supported by Dell, but it can be done with a little bit of digging for the drivers. And I'm going to show you what drivers you need to do this, and why you would want to do this. Why would you want to run Windows 98 on a Pentium 4 when there are certainly much more viable and compatible systems to run Windows 98 on? Well, let's face it, Pentium 4s are dirt cheap these days. I mean, they're giving them away practically. Some people will pay you to take the Pentium 4 away from them. So, and a lot of Pentium 4s like this one will run Windows 98 just fine. And if you're needing a computer to play old games on that aren't compatible with newer versions of Windows, and you're on a very, very, very tight budget, there you go. Find yourself a cheap Pentium 4 and put Windows 98 on it, and there you go. And the reason I'm doing this today is because, well, I don't currently have a Windows 98 desktop at the moment. I'm actually doing most of my retro stuff on this Gateway 2000 right here, and it's pretty much handling most of everything I throw at it. And I never really realized how little I use Windows 98. Well, I use Windows 98 a lot, but the games from the era that Windows 98 existed, I really didn't play a lot of games designed specifically for Windows 98. I discovered a lot of the games I can run will run just fine on this old Windows 95 system. But there are still a couple of games here and there that need a little bit more power. And since I don't really have any other option at the moment, I'm just going to use my trusty Dell Dimension 2350 and show you how to install Windows 98 on said system. And I believe this will work on similar systems from Dell, like the Dimension 2400 and probably the 2300. Mileage may vary. Now, this will be a little bit on the different side because this is not using stock hardware anymore. This has an upgraded video card as well as an upgraded sound card, which need its own drivers for Windows 98. So we will not be using the onboard video or the onboard audio, which have their own drivers. But I will still guide you to where you can get said drivers for this system. So, let's put the camera on the tripod and let's get started. Okay, let's turn the computer on. And I'm going to put the Windows 98 CD in the CD drive. Go to the boot menu. I hope I did it in time. Yep, I did. This is actually the first time I've used this system in about 6 months, and just as I expected, still fired up just fine. Can't kill these systems. Okay, we'll tell it to boot from the CD-ROM. Windows 98 startup menu, boot from CD-ROM. Okay, we actually don't want to start Windows 98 setup. We want to just simply boot it with CD-ROM support. And basically, this process right here is not specific at all for this system. This is pretty much how I install Windows 98 on any computer. And you've probably seen me do this before on this channel. So first of all, I've already got a FAT32 partition on here, but I do want to reformat it and make it bootable. So we want to go to the D drive where the Windows 98 CD is. We want to change directory to the Win98 folder. And these optical drives in this computer are on their way out. 14 years. It's going to have to happen. So we'll give it the format command, format C:, we'll do /S, which will tell it to copy the system files over to make it bootable. Again, we've got a decrepit optical drive here, so may take a little bit for it to get its head together. Yeah, I was afraid of that. And of course, this stuff has to happen on video. CD does have a few lacerations on it, which is probably not helping its cause. Do have another Windows 98 CD, but it's all the way in the house. I may have to go in there and grab it. Okay, we'll do a retry. Yeah, it's not looking good for this CD. Yeah, so I will be right back. I'm going to go grab another Windows 98 CD. Okay, just stuck another Windows 98 CD in the drive, so let's see if we have better luck with this one. Looks like we will. So we'll go ahead and proceed with format. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to use the quick command. And we're formatting a very large hard drive in full format style. This is probably going to take about probably until Christmas. Of what year? I do not know right now. So I will be right back. Okay, take two. I took the lazy way out. I restarted the computer, redid the partitioning, and we're just going to do it with the quick command because I am lazy. I really don't care. So we'll go ahead and tell it to format. See, a lot faster this time. Alright, we'll name the drive Win98. Okay, we'll go to the hard drive directory now. One thing I do want to do is, since I had a copy of Acronis OS Selector installed on this computer previous to doing all this, I need to clear out the master boot record. We can do that by just typing in fdisk space/mbr, and that will clear out the master boot record. And there we go. Alright, now here is my patented way of installing Windows 98, or any version of Windows 9X for that matter. This will make your life a lot easier, and will get you a girlfriend, will get you a nice house on the lake of your choice, and you will die a very happy person. Actually, this idea came from Jay Wakefield. But anyway, we're going to copy the Windows 98 setup files to the hard drive, OEM style. That way, once we have Windows 98 installed, if we install something that requires the Windows 98 CD, we won't need to put the CD in the drive. And it also makes installation a little bit quicker and easier. So the way to do this is we're going to make a directory in the Windows. And we're going to change the directory to Windows. We'll make another directory, Options. Change directory to Options. Make one more directory called Cabs. And we're going to change to that directory. Alright, now we're ready to copy. I'm going to do the copy command d:/win98. And it's going to copy all the files over. This usually doesn't take too long, depends on the speed of your optical drive. Like I said, this one is not the healthiest around, so it may take a little bit longer. So because of that, I will go ahead and pause the video. Alright, got the files copied over, so we need to take the Windows 98 CD out of the drive. Don't need it anymore. And we're going to Control-Alt-Delete. And we should be greeted with a DOS prompt. Just as expected, and my camera does not want to focus again. There we go. Alright, we need to do some directory swapping, so we're going to do cd windows/options/cabs. And we're going to do setup. I'm going to use the IS switch so we don't have to deal with ScanDisk. And here's Windows 98 setup. Again, this is no different from any other Windows 98 setup process. Okay, this is important. We do not want to install into the Windows.000 directory. So we just need to delete the .000 from here. Already exists, that's okay. Custom setup. Okay, we'll take out the accessibility, we'll get all the accessories, no communications, all desktop themes, all multimedia, no online services, no Outlook Express, all system tools, and definitely no web TV for Windows, because even back in like 1999 it never worked. Then we'll give the computer a name, Dell 2350-98. Right, we're not going to create a startup disk. and it's going to do the actual installation. This will take a little while, so I will pause and come back in a moment. Okay, that took a lot quicker than expected. We're now at the prompt for our name and company. Go ahead and fill that out. Okay, we're going to put product key in. Alright, Windows 98 saved all information. I know I've gone through this installation process tons and tons of times on this channel, but hey, one more is not going to hurt. If you're wondering what happened to my custom Windows 98 system, the Carolina Flyer, well, I unfortunately had to sell it a few months ago, so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing right here. And like I said, I just realized recently that Windows 98 era games, a lot of them that I play run just fine on my Windows 95 systems. Well, some of the more powerful ones, like my Gateway. So, having just a dedicated Windows 98 system is really kind of counterintuitive. But I am setting this one up, though, just to have available for the few programs and games that do require a little bit more power than my Windows 95 era systems can provide. And I know there are a few people out there that think this is probably the dumbest and stupidest thing anyone could ever possibly do. And that is installing Windows 98 on a Pentium 4, especially a Pentium 4 Dell Dimension from the early to mid-2000s. And I know of a certain Australian YouTuber who would think that way. But I'm doing this just because, well, it's cheap and it gets the job done. Alright, we'll set the time zone. I'm in the Eastern time zone. Hard to believe I've had this system for 14 years. Okay, this part usually takes a good while, so I'll pause right here. Alright, again, that didn't take as long as I thought. It's going to restart, and we should be booting into Windows 98 for real for the first time in a moment. If you're wondering what the upgrades I did to the system are, well, it's got a PCI nvidia GeForce 5200 that I got at Goodwill several years ago. Way better than the onboard Intel graphics, I can tell you that. And I upgraded from the onboard audio to a Sound Blaster Live 5.1 value about less than a year ago, I guess. Also better than the onboard stuff. Again, because this hardware is way newer than Windows 98 knows about, we're going to have to install some drivers. First of all, I need to go on the other side of the room and get a floppy disk. There we go. This is something I highly recommend doing on any Windows 98 system, no matter what processor you're running. And please install this USB flash driver, because this will make copying files over to your Windows 98 system a heck of a lot easier. I got it on a floppy disk, as you just saw, so we'll go over here. Ignore these files right here. There's some other stuff I have on this disk. What we need is this one here, NUSB 33E. Just do a Google search for Windows 98 flash drive driver, and you should be able to find it without any problem. Alright, we'll tell it yes. Remove the floppy disk. And it's rebooting. Okay, booting back in. Alright, now we can plug our flash drive in. Despite popular belief, the name flash drive did not come from the fact that people used to store nude pictures on these drives. Just thought I'd put that out there. And of course, the nice thing about having a system this newer, this so much newer, is because you have front-facing USB ports, which makes plugging these things in a lot easier. All right. Now this is where things are going to get kind of interesting. So I'm going to show you what drivers you need and how to install them. So go to the flash drive here. This mouse needs to be cleaned. This is my workbench setup, so this is just temporary stuff. So we will go to drivers. Go to Dimension 2350, and okay. There are two drivers that you could get from Dell's website by just putting in Dell Dimension 2350 and just going with the standard Windows XP selection that will also work on Windows 98. Both of them being the chipset driver and the audio driver, because both the chipset driver package and the audio driver package both have Windows 98 drivers built in. So I always like to start off with installing the chipset first thing until it continue. Again, Dell's website will say this is specifically for Windows XP, but this will work on Windows 98 as well, and Windows ME if you so desire. And it'll open up an Internet Explorer window. We'll tell it installed now. Make sure you select run this program from its current location and not the other option. Tell it OK. Tell it yes. We'll close out of Internet Explorer. And it's going to install the Intel chipset. Okay, we can close that. Okay, you can restart now, but I usually like to wait to restart until after I got all the drivers installed, because I'm weird. Now, I would go ahead and install this audio driver from Dell's website, but that's for the onboard audio, which I am not using on this system at the moment, so we will skip over that. And we're going to go to this folder here called Windows 98 Specific. And I'm going to install the video driver. Again, this uses the onboard Intel graphics. I forget the exact model number. You will have to search for that because that's not on Dell's website. The one they have on their website works only with Windows XP. But again, I will provide probably in the description a location where you can download this driver. But again, we are not using the onboard videos, so we're going to go up here and install the nvidia driver. Okay, we'll just click through all this stuff here, let it do its thing. Again, we'll restart later. Alright, now we'll install the network card. Again, the one Dell provides on their website only works with Windows XP, so you'll have to search around for the Windows 98 version. Again, I will put a link to that in the description, but once you get it downloaded, put it on your flash drive, right-click My Computer, go to Device Manager, and click on PCI Ethernet Controller, or double-click it, I mean. Go to Reinstall Driver, go to Next, tell it Next again, and tell it to specify a location. We're going to browse, and we're going to go to our flash drive. Go to Dimension 2350 here, and we're going to go to Network, and just select the network folder here, or whatever you have the folder named as. Okay, here's the name of the network card. It's a Broadcom 440X 10100 integrated controller. So we'll tell it next to go ahead and install it. Currently don't have my Ethernet cable connected to this computer, but anyway. You can see this is why we copied the Windows 98 setup files to the hard drive earlier, because if we hadn't, it would have been asking us for the Windows 98 CD, and we'd have to dig that out, put it in the CD drive, and it'd be a great big mess. We'll tell it, okay, it's done installing the driver. We'll tell it finish. Again, we'll restart later. Close. Tell it okay. Restart later. Okay, next, for the sound card, again, I am using a Sound Blaster card instead of the onboard, so we need to, so I need to use my own driver. I think it's right here. Funny thing is, this driver came from Gateway's website. That's funny. Okay, we'll go back to Device Manager, and we'll double-click Multimedia Audio Device, reinstall driver. Great, now I forgot where it copied the driver to. I think it was right here. Okay. So far, so good. Now, once this is installed, we still won't have sound simply because I don't have any speakers hooked up right now. Okay, and there's another driver we need to install for this sound card, and that's for the GamePort joystick. Even though I've never gotten the GamePort joystick on this sound card to work in Windows 98. Okay, this is wanting it in the some driver from the Windows folder. I think it's in the System folder. Ah, stupid mouse. Okay, maybe not. Maybe it's in where we put the setup files. Been a while since I've done this, so okay, it's not there either. Might be in the temp folder that it likes to create. Stupid mouse. Okay, got that sorted out. Long story. And we don't have to worry about that PCI Universal Serial Bus. It'll take care of it on its own. I can't talk, you know. Just cannot talk tonight. Alright, now we can restart. Excuse me. Okay, I can tell the colors look a little bit more vibrant, so it looks like we got a working video driver now and a working network card. And now it's going to individually install each driver for everything on the chipset, which has always been a funny thing about Windows 98. So this may take a little bit. Again, this is completely normal. Okay, we got to restart again. And it froze up. Joys of Windows 98. Again, the joys of Windows 98. This usually doesn't happen. Don't worry. Everything's fine. Alright, we should be taken to the desktop this time. And there we go. And apparently we do have sound according to the icon on the taskbar, but again we don't have any speakers connected. Just take my word for it, it's working. Let's see, we're set to 16-bit color. We can take it up to 1024 by 768 on this monitor, but I'm not planning on using this computer with this monitor, so I'm going to keep it at 800 by 600 for now. And we'll go into Device Manager, make sure everything's accounted for. Everything looks good. Again, we don't have to worry about the USB driver. It's still going to work anyway without that. Let's see, we got our GeForce FX 5200 installed. Got the hard drive controller driver, network driver, sound driver, and all the rest of the chipset goodies are in there, as well as some USB stuff. So yes, it is possible to run Windows 98 on a Pentium 4 system such as this. Now again, mileage will vary. It really depends on the chipset. Some of the later Pentium 4 systems, well, you can just forget about it because the chipsets just don't support it and you're just going to be out of luck. In fact, I've got a Dimension 3000 down there that I tried installing Windows 98 on one time, and while it installed, I could not get any drivers for it, so it was just a wasted effort, unfortunately. So, yeah, that'll just about do it for this video. I will provide links to the necessary drivers in the description, so you'll have easy access to them to do this with your own Dimension 2350 or similar computer. And before we go, I mentioned earlier that I've been using this Gateway 2000 here a lot for Windows 95 stuff. You're probably wondering if I got rid of the corner Packard Bell. Well, you're absolutely wrong. It's still alive and well right here. I just kind of keep it sitting there as more of a time capsule, and I still do use it, yes, and it's not going anywhere. So, does it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. This is Billy Core, signing off. Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like, subscribe, and follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The addresses are located in the bottom right corner. Until next time, this is Billy Core, signing off.